Hey, it's Frank Zahler. It's a race motor. So, what makes the difference between your motor and this motor here that runs 990s? It's small block on motor, no nitrous, and it's less than 380 cubic inches. You put a lot of money into your motor and you run it, and it's finished up and just doesn't run what the other guy runs. And in fact, it's about what you think it should run. You put it together and it runs 14s or it runs 13s. And then you find a guy that's got a very similar combination. You go, wait a second. Let's see, I have better heads than he does. I have a bigger motor. I got a Turbo 400 tranny, which is a bigger tranny, and a 9-inch. And he's 2 seconds faster than me. Well, that's what basically this is. I'm going to give you advice over the next 10 segments on what you're doing wrong, things you don't know, or things you do know and you're overlooking. Most of the stuff is right in front of you, but a lot of the stuff is small secrets that aren't really secrets that nobody really talks about. You've heard of guys saying, okay, drop your exhaust, you'll pick up some time, or maybe change your oil, you'll pick up some time. Take some weight out's the biggest thing, take out some, run some times. It will. But what you got to look at is the entire build. When you started the car from scratch, or if you're starting a car from scratch, you need to decide what you want to do with the car. Okay? And I have these kind of rules that I do when I build a motor for somebody. First and foremost, I ask somebody, are you going to run pump gas in it? Then I ask them, are you going to drive it on the street? And if they tell me yes, I ask them how far they're going to drive it on the street. Okay? If you're going to drive it 5 to 7 miles, up to some place to go show it, or maybe if your work's close or friend's house, that's completely different than driving it on the interstate, driving at 65, 70 miles an hour for 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. An almost race motor can do that 5 to 7 minutes on pump gas with no problem. You have to build it differently if you're going to build it to run long distance. If you want to take it out of your driveway and drive it 2 hours to the track, the car has to be built differently. The second thing I asked is, how fast do you want to go with the car? And some people will say high to low 10s. There is such a dramatic difference between high to low 10s. I can't build like that. Okay? I can build a car. I built a 347 one time. It was a very mild motor, and it went 1088 at 122, very mild. And this motor that you're seeing here normally runs in the 10.0s at 133 miles an hour. That's a great big difference in mile per hour. And a lot of people don't understand that mile per hour is everything in the quarter mile. If you got a car and you bring it to the track and you run it and it runs 1290s at say 101 or 102 miles an hour, it's leaving good, it's running good, everything seems to be fine. And you're thinking, well, the car should be able to run 12.0s. At 102 miles an hour, you're not going to run 12.0s. It's just not going to happen. You need a car that's going to run 109, 110, 111 miles an hour to get that. So you're either going to need more power, or you're going to have to make your car a lot more efficient. Again, I'll talk to you about those things too. And the third thing's the easiest thing of all, is I just want to build a race motor. Then you can do anything pretty much you want with it, because it's going to be on a race cast. It's only going to be run a certain amount of time, and it's much, much, much easier to build. I'm a person that believes to put as much compression in the motor as you can put without having to modify a lot of things. Basically what I'm saying is, and believe me, I've done this too many times. Build an 11-to-1 motor, or build an 11.5-to-1 motor, and, oops, sorry, my picture fell down. And you can't run pump gas on it. You have to run race gas, but you're not going to get the power out of it that if you had built it as a 12.5-to-1 or 13-to-1 motor. Actually, I prefer in a regular bracket motor, I think 13.5-to-1 to 14.0-to-1 is the perfect compression. And I'll tell you why that race motors run high compression, besides the necessity of having the high compression so the cam will work and so on and so forth. There's another big reason why race cars run high compression. And also temperatures of certain things in the motor and the transmission play a key factor in how your vehicle does. So if you're interested, follow along with me, and I will explain the best I can over the next 10 clips of what I would do. I'm not saying I'm perfect, nowhere near. I'm not a professional, but I've built a lot of motors, and I've built quite a few race cars. And my expertise, I guess you would say, is to refine the combination for as cheap as possible. It's easy to call up and call Scott Shafroff and go, yeah, I'll take a 1,200 horsepower 632 for $20,000. Well, I mean, if you have $20,000, okay? I'm talking about guys that can buy parts on the weekends, and usually a build, even a mild build, if I'm doing the whole car, takes me a year to do. Besides the point that I'm fat and lazy, it's that I got a lot of things I'm trying to figure out exactly the way I want to build it. So stay tuned, and I'll let you know on the next episode, and we'll start breaking it down one piece by one piece. Thank you.